nominees for the best performance.
A struggling black woman that can hardly make ends meet and doing the best she absolutely can to get by.
By an actress in a motion picture drama, Whoopi Goldberg, The Color Purple.
And the winner is Whoopi Goldberg, The Color Purple.
Beat her.
I start this video first by giving kudos to 2025 French Open winner Coco Gauff. She had an up and down tournament, she forgot her rackets and got some help from Venus Williams, and in the end she triumphed over the #1 player in the world, Aryna Sabalenka. And for all of the black fatigue videos that we've been seeing in the last couple of weeks, anyone is welcome to do a video on the kind of behavior exhibited by Aryna in her loss because, well, there are some people that aren't very happy with her sportsmanship. And if you like to do videos on certain types of fatigue, those people can feel welcome to do videos on this kind of fatigue. That said, however, in the midst of this great triumph by Coco Gauff, it seems strange that the topic of the day is not her win being flanked by her father and his guidance. Instead, it's...
I say nothing to those people who think that my films focus on the struggle of black women, because they're right, it does.
Watching a Tyler Perry production is like watching a fever dream of trauma. I am 18 minutes and 25 seconds into this new movie, and I cannot believe what I had just seen. It went from worse to worstest in 18 minutes. Taraji wakes up in the morning, no, wrong. It's already off to a bad start because she woke up to the sound of Gorilla. Her baby had to sleep with earbuds on to not hear the sounds of the ratchet.
Get out. I'm going to marry this white hussy because you are too virtuous and strong and might make me a better man.
I'm in doing this. Let me tell you something. If I get an opportunity to put a black woman on screen for people to see them in love, in happy, in joy, in pain, in struggle, what I'm doing is a service to all people so that people will know that black women are not just strong and one thing. They are all things, and they go through all of these different things. So
Tyler Perry, I understand that you want to capture the struggle of the black woman, but that's not all we're about, okay? This has been your MO since you came onto the scene as a movie producer and director. Why don't you give us a movie where we're painted as the queens we are?
And I can almost guarantee it's going to be some light-skinned man at the end of the film that wants to be her man, wants to provide for her. She gets her life together. She marries the light-skinned man, and they live happily ever after.
Now, I know that to you, I'm just a poor, light-skinned gardener who can't even afford a shirt. But I love me some Jesus, and I love me some you.
After watching the Tyler Perry movie, Straw, on Netflix, if you do not have a newfound respect for mothers and single mothers that live on this planet Earth, then I have no respect for you.
You told Harpo to beat me.
One thing Tyler Perry gonna do in these movies is keep a poor, getting her beat.
I am dark-skinned and bald, so I hate you, and I hate Jesus.
What you doing bringing him in my house? And I've been calling you all day.
But why? Oh, look, more pictures of a black woman in distress. Probably her getting laid off from her no-good, dead-end job on the right, and her dealing with being a single mother here on the left.
To have an opportunity to be able to paint all of these pictures and all sides of it is something that I'm paying homage to my mother, to my aunt, to my sisters, and friends and cousins and the things that they all went through.
Tyler Perry makes the same movie over and over and over and over again.
So I hate you, and I hate Jesus.
Beat her.
You can't help but notice in modern black filmmaking that there is a distinct genre which I call Mr. Corn, quote unquote, which is essentially there is direct suffering because of a evil presence of a man that is the substitute for Mr., or his absence is the reason why there is suffering. And there is more than enough of this to go around, thanks to Tyler Perry. That said, however, he is not the originator of it. And to understand this, and the reason why this kind of filmmaking is such a turnoff for a large group of black men, we have to go back to 1983.
A new movie, the third in the Star Wars series, opens on Wednesday. And when it opens in Hollywood, some will have been waiting in line for more than a week. And it is clear the audience will not be your ordinary mom and pop and the kids, as ABC's Judd Rose reports from Hollywood.
6 years ago, Star Wars hit the screen, proving a box office bombshell. The original earned $524 million. The sequel, The Empire Strikes Back, soared almost as high, about $365 million at last count. Now comes the third in the series, The Return of the Jedi, and it's expected to earn as much or more than either of its predecessors. In fact, it won't open for 2 more days, but already the lines are down the block.
You meet a lot of weird people out here? None weirder than us.
There's a lot of conversation about how toxic the fans of Star Wars are, but I think you could just add in essentially all fans of science fiction movies, and Star Wars is just the biggest representation of those people. And the reason why this movie is so important and why it struck such a nerve with such a large group of people is because it gave a strange, quote-unquote, group of people a place to belong. Notice the usage of the words weird and odd, because this is a group of people that found a place to belong that had never had a place to belong before.
The 50-odd, emphasis on odd, men and women who've camped outside a Hollywood theater, some for the past 6 days and nights, to be first in line for Jedi.
I am wondering, why are you here?
I know why I'm supposed to be here.
Why?
Because I got nowhere else to go.
Jedi will be opening in more than 950 theaters nationwide. This one happens to be on Hollywood Boulevard, an unsavory part of Los Angeles, where it's not surprising to see strangely dressed people sleeping on the sidewalk. But even in this high-crime area, the fans of Jedi have triumphed over the forces of darkness.
Most people you consider bad are on our side. It's like the Force is with us.
1983 was the release of the third installment of the original trilogy, The Return of the Jedi. And in it, we got to see the completion of the character arc of the first prominent black actor in Star Wars, Lando Calrissian. The Return of the Jedi is a very important movie, particularly to black male Star Wars fans, because we got to see our first prominent black actor, Lando Calrissian, complete his story arc, his character arc. In The Empire Strikes Back, he betrayed Han Solo and Leia, and he was choked thoroughly by Chewbacca because of it. But he had a chance to redeem himself and help save Han and back up Luke when he disposed of Jabba to free everyone from the lair and the Sarlacc pit. And then he goes on to be captain of the forces that eventually blows up the second Death Star, a way of completing his importance in the Star Wars story. The placement of Billy D. Williams in The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi not only made a lot of black men feel cool and even included, but for a group of geeks who maybe didn't feel like you had a place, that were ignored by a large number of young ladies, and you weren't the Billy D. Williams, don't let the smooth taste fool you, slit malt liquor spokesman. It was a place to belong in a universe that didn't really exist, but it did exist. But unfortunately, at the same time that this burgeoning genre, if you will, of science fiction that was inclusive of the imaginations of black men burgeoning, it was also the same year that The Color Purple was released, and it began a second genre, the genre that I dub Mr. Corn.
You told Harpo to beat me.
Spoiler alert.
Watching a Tyler Perry production is like watching a fever dream of trauma. I am 18 minutes and 25 seconds into this new movie, and I cannot believe what I had just seen. It went from worst to worstest in 18 minutes. Taraji wakes up in the morning, no, wrong. It's already off to a bad start because she woke up to the sound of Gorilla. Her baby had to sleep with earbuds on. to not hear the sounds of the ratchet. She bathing the baby in the tub because the baby's sick. She gets seizures and she got asthma at the same damn time. So the baby telling her about how her teacher embarrassed her in front of the whole class, basically said your mama broke because she need $40 to eat lunch with the rest of the students. Cool. She say, I'm gonna get paid today. I'm gonna get this all sorted. Her landlord basically tell her, I'm gonna kick you out today if you don't come back here on your break and pay me my rent. She get to work. It's the busiest supermarket in America. I've never seen a supermarket be that busy, ever. Her boss is an overseer. He cracking a whip on her. He said, get your ass behind the register right now. No breaks. She get her ass behind the register. Her friend tries to offer her money. She said, no, girl, because we both struggling. The school called. The baby need the money. She get to the school. Guess what? They took her kid. Because that's what happens. They took her kid. She depressed. She leave the school because she only had 30 minutes before she got to be back at work. So she start crying. It's raining. It's raining really hard. She tries to swerve the lane, but ends up getting into a collision with the undercover police officer who said he's going to find a legal way to. They impound her car and give her a ticket. She's a fighter. So she still goes back to work dripping wet. The boss fires her. She goes to go home, lay in her bed. Guess what? She got evicted. 18 minutes and 25 seconds. I have an hour and 30 minutes left. He is a villain, and I love it. So much trauma. Whatever will she do?
Beat her.
As you can hear in the synopsis of the first 20 minutes of Tyler Perry's new movie on Netflix, it's a train wreck. But it's also a genre that we've gotten used to. So instead of writing the stories celebrating a black father who has a daughter who writes on a napkin that I will win the French Open until she won the French Open, and making that movie, it is Tyler Perry who is continuing the genre of Mr. Corn, and that genre is creating this effect.
Men aren't taught is bad. Men are taught that will get you sent to jail, which is why they're so obsessed with false accusations and not the act of itself, because they don't think of it as some terrible, awful thing. They think of it as something that you do that can have a bad repercussion, but they don't see it as an actual heinous act, and that's the problem.
Looking at the comments underneath the TikToks, you could tell that there is a contingent of black women, I would assume, that are tired of Mr. Corn. The movie was good, but honestly, I am tired of Tyler Perry making movies about struggling black women. He never makes movies that shed a positive light on black women. Why are they always going through something negative?
Struggling?
She's forced down a path she never imagined. She becomes caught in a web of suspicion, blame, and desperation, struggling to survive in a world that barely notices she exists.
And getting saved by some man, preferably a light-skinned poetic man in a horrible braid wig.
Excuse me, may I rake your leaves?
The fallout of what I deem as Mr. Corn is that the kinds of retorts and remarks that you get in response to the videos that are saying that men are essentially monsters is a kind of seconding the idea that black men are essentially Mr. Men aren't taught. The problem is men, period. And you can see the large number, extraordinary number of likes to these statements. That's why they say that's someone's daughter, because they have to view your value from the lens of another man in order to see your humanity. Not just the comment, but the 18.2 thousand likes, essentially thinking that this kind of thinking is the norm for black men. And as you saw in Return of the Jedi, it's essentially taking us in two different directions. I personally see this genre carrying us in two different directions. You have the nerdy guys who never really had any access or very little access to many of the women that are complaining about how many black men are like Mr., going one way on the X-Wing. And then you have a contingent of women, many of them black women, essentially saying that black men are Mr. and that men need to learn how to become human. And is splitting us apart in a way that I think might be irreparable. Not necessarily because I think that's the best thing for us, even though in many cases I do think that might be the case. But if this kind of theater, this kind of media is going to be the staple of the black community going forward, and instead of celebrating the stories of a black woman having success like Coco Gauff. Instead, on the weekend or the week following her triumph in the French Open, the talk of the day is a movie about another struggling black woman from yet another Tyler Perry movie about the same thing. Then essentially the theme is we are excited, or we want to continue participating in a culture that basically says we are the victims, we are the persecuted, and we're persecuted because either black men are not there or because black men are there and they're persecuting us. And it's going to do what SYSBM has already done. Make many black men step back, or better yet, step somewhere else. It's an unfortunate reality, but as we celebrate Tyler Perry, we have to understand what the fallout is from his type of media and what it's going to do to future generations of quote-unquote black people, as many black men are demonized and black women continue to not just see themselves as the ultimate victims, but see them as the victims at the hand of Mr. Because no black man in his right mind is going to stay behind and play the role of Mr. only to get taken down in family court or worse. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.